Okay, we are live. My name's Alex. I'm here today with Ken from Pinnacle Financial Group. How are you today, Ken?
I'm doing well, Alex. I understand you're back from Spain, so
Awesome.
welcome back to America.
I am. Thank you. I am back. It's good to be back, though. Good to be back home. Yeah, and I see you have some special guests here today.
We do, yes. Yeah, so, there are so many real estate related challenges here in Florida. And you know what they say about real estate? It's all about location, location, location. And so we have great location for real estate here in Florida, but we do have challenges. Limited inventory for one, limited affordable properties, bidding wars and competitions and high homeowners insurance and high property taxes. So lots of these are challenges for retirees today, but also all home buyers and business owners as well. So let's dive into this topic. With me today is Bill and Val Fillmore of the Fillmore Dreams team from the Hoven Real Estate Group. Hey, Bill. Hey, Val. How are you guys?
Hi, Ken. We're doing great. Thank you for having us today.
Yeah, happy to have you guys. So, hey, let's get right into this. We have a crazy real estate market out there. What's going on? What's happening from your vantage point?
Well, it's interesting because you mentioned that how crazy it is, and inventory is really low right now, which creates a different challenge in finding a home. But it also, um, at the same time, prices continue to climb. So it's a challenge right now. Sellers are more willing to negotiate, though, which is nice, and so you have a little more breathing room right now than we had several months back.
Yeah, just hearing you say that sellers are willing to negotiate is a big change, I think, because I
Right.
was always hearing about this, oh, we didn't get there in time, we lost out on the deal and all of that. So that's shifting maybe a little bit. And we're talking about this county here, Brevard County in particular, or is it all over Florida? Or what are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's more national, Ken. Prices, if you look across the country, prices have started to drop a little bit. But in Florida in particular, and on the Space Coast in Brevard, they've continued to climb. Obviously, you talked about location. I mean, Florida's a pretty good location to be in. So
Mhm.
people are still trying to get here, um, partially because they can work remotely. And if you're going to work remotely, being in Florida is not a bad place to go and hit the beach after your day, or get out on the golf course or whatever through the year. So we're seeing it still increasing a little bit, but it's really being pressured by the lack of inventory, which is really being caused by people that bought a home who would normally be looking to buy by now, but aren't because they've got a locked in interest rate in that, down in the 3% range. Certainly don't want to trade that in and buy a home that's going to put them into the 6% plus range. So they're holding on a little bit, and hopefully some of them will release a little bit. We've seen some more inventory come on lately, but it's still tight. I think when we were chatting the other day, we really talked about a balanced market in Brevard County being pretty close to 4,000 properties of all kinds, condos, townhomes, duplexes, single families. And really, we're sitting at around 2,400. So it's still a seller's market if they want to be out there. But because there's not the frenzy that you spoke to, we're seeing a little more willingness to negotiate on inspection items and a little more willingness to look at price concessions or perhaps pay some points down. There's different approaches that we can take with people.
We've
Yeah.
also noticed, Ken, that when homes are in really good shape, it's
Yeah.
move-in ready, those homes go really quickly. So you're still seeing those turnover pretty fast. It's the homes that need more renovation. Maybe they haven't done anything since
Right.
they moved in the last 15 or 20 years. They kind of sit on the market a lot longer.
Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. People who want what they want to be able to move in and get in there, and it's really refreshing to hear that there may be some wiggle room in this negotiation process because, gosh, with higher mortgage rates and higher costs to purchase, and then all the other intangible costs, it. I mean, are homes really affordable anymore? It's like so much to own a home these days.
It is. The price to get in today is considerably higher than it was, just 2 or 3 years ago, prior to the pandemic. And then, the crazy buzz up that we had over those couple of years where we saw price increases in Brevard County up into the 20% plus range annually. So start thinking about, a $300,000 home. What happens to that after a couple of years? So obviously, people have to think about what their budget really is. They have to really sit down. And here's where I think, working with realtors like ourselves helps you to figure that out. What's the want to have? What's the need to have? What do you really spend your time doing? Do you really need that extra 300 or 400 square feet, or is that, ancillary stuff that you can kind of live without? There are certain things you must have, right, to match your lifestyle. And I think that's what we try to do, is figure out what works for people, not what house will fit them, but what lifestyle in that home would fit them.
Yeah, I remember you speaking about that a little bit, and I was intrigued by that. It's more of a lifestyle purchase
Sure is.
than it is I want a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2 car garage. I mean, that's kind of the standard thing that I hear,
Sure.
and maybe with a pool, maybe without a pool, and really you approach it differently to try to match up properties that are affordable with the lifestyle that they're going to live. And I know a lot of my retirees, they like the type of property that they can lock the door and leave for a month.
Right.
They're going to be on a cruise. They're going to do whatever they're going to do, and that's their lifestyle.
Right. It really makes a difference to ask those types of questions, because if for example, someone wants to play golf all the time once they're retired, you want them near a golf community, or at least have access to it. And in Viera, there's a great place to even drive around and shop with your golf carts. And so it really depends on lifestyle. We're finding that gets us closer to understanding what they really want.
Yeah, now I'm going to suspect, of course, that you guys cover all the bases when someone's out there purchasing a new
Right.
home. I mean, you got to get that mortgage right. And there's all kinds of different mortgages out there, depending on the individual and so on. And then all the other costs that are associated with owning a property, not the least of which is getting the right kind of deal on their homeowners insurance. That's a big topic right now here in Florida, affordability and so on. So what are your words of wisdom there?
Shop. Right. I think, we continuously talk to different insurance agencies here in Brevard County to try and find ones that we know are going to work with our clients, that are going to sit down and understand what their true needs are. Again, I keep going back to it, but I think a lot of people go, I've always had my policy be this. But you may not need that policy like that anymore. It may have changed. You may be looking at a townhome or a duplex or a condo where the roof is covered. So you're not paying for that. You're paying for kind of almost like a renter's package, where you're kind of the walls in. You can harden your home against storms, which will help reduce insurance rate. But ultimately, it's about picking the right package and shopping it, because the choices are more limited in Florida now than they were even a few years ago with the exit of a number of those companies.
Yeah, and it seems like through the news, it seems like things, especially in the reinsurance market, maybe softening up a little bit, getting a little closer to maybe some balance there, some parity to where we can get some sense about. I've had some folks walk in the door and say, geez, I was spending $3,000 last year and it's 6,000 plus this year. Or 6,000 is 12,000 now. Just huge. I mean, those are big increases for people who are on semi-fixed kinds of budgets.
It is. And I think, the other challenge that's been presented lately is that the age of the roof having to be replaced has kind of shortened up a little bit. So not only are you going to pay a little more for costs today, but you're also going to have to replace that roof potentially a little sooner. So again, we come back to that retiree chat. Maybe the right answer for lifestyle, to turn the key and go to your cruise, is to buy into that where the roof is included and you're not worrying about that. You're paying it as part of your condo association or HOA dues. So that gives you your security, gives you your lower cost and allows you to kind of lock the door and go.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I know we got also talking a bit about, this idea of general lifestyle changes and shifts of living conditions, families living with more family members, and
Yeah.
we maybe you could speak to that a little bit. You seen some of that here in Florida, and especially here on the Space Coast?
We're seeing a lot more of that with either younger families moving in with parents or parents moving in with their children. Multifamily generational homes are being built, especially out in Vieira. So we have a lot more clients looking for those types of homes now.
Some of those designs are kind of exciting too, because although you may have it as a suite separately in your home, these have separate entrances. So they have a shared entrance inside the home to kind of move around, but you can come and go as you see fit, and you're not in the other person's home, so to speak. The other thing that we're seeing legislation start to move towards changing is the ability for people to put an accessory dwelling unit. ADU is what we call it in the industry, which is really a small, tiny home that's placed in a backyard, for example, in a single family residence area. So obviously you need enough backyard space to do that, but these are fairly small, 800 to 1,000 square feet at the most. And they give you that additional income level. So, you've got your parents moved in or your kid moved back or whatever the case may be. It's just another option. So legislation is starting to allow for some of that, whether that becomes a commercially viable option as people look to rent out Airbnb type suites and do that. That's a possibility too.
Yeah, lots of that stuff going on. I mean, it's
Sure.
almost this culture shift and kind of some dynamic changes
Mhm.
generally. But I think the general rule of thumb is away from those big houses
Yeah.
down to more scaled, affordable. Look, the cost of building is just so much higher today, and I think the builders are even building more of the scaled down homes because that's what the market may demand.
We're seeing a lot of new builds around 12 to 14 or 1,500 square feet, which, for a while everybody wanted 3,000, and there's still a, clientele that wants that. But
Yeah.
it's interesting to hear people ask for a smaller home because they don't want the big home to take care of. They want to be able to still go out and have fun and
Yeah.
maintain a nice
Yeah.
home
Yeah. Yeah.
without the size.
And that leads me to explore kind of one other area before we wrap things up here. But
Sure.
there across the nation, I hear more and more, and I think we discussed about some of the build to rent communities that are starting to pop up. I see a lot of them out in Arizona, but I think we have one here in our county as well. Or is there something like that going on here?
Yeah, we sure do. We've got, I think, a couple now. So the one that's kind of the newest one is being built at the intersection of Ellis Road and I-95, and they're calling it a horizontal rental community,
Yeah.
which really takes away from that two-story kind of a thing. So whether it's a townhome, a duplex, or a single-family home, it's all single-story. So it would be accommodating to somebody who's looking at retiring, doesn't want to make the investment in real estate, and is looking to just have that same lifestyle perhaps that they had when they owned a single family home, but are putting their money to other uses. So that's one. And we're hearing rumor that there's another community that was purchased by one of the big investment corporations, and that they're converting that into a rental community as well. So single family homes that will be rentals.
Yeah.
Big market here with the space program. Sorry to jump on you there, Ken. With a lot of people being transferred in for
Mm.
short periods. So think of the engineering teams that come in for a year or two to work on a project,
Yeah.
may not want to really to be buying a home. So there's a great opportunity for a rental for a couple of years.
Yeah, there's something about that may seem faddish to me to a certain degree. I mean, most people just want to own their own home,
I
right?
know.
They don't.
I don't think that, all American dream of owning your own home. I don't. People talk about it maybe going away, but I don't believe that.
Yeah, yeah. I think at our heart, we want to own our own home. We want to be in control.
Yeah.
We don't want someone one day saying, "Oh, we sold," or we need to move out, or I'm going to raise the rent on you, or any of that kind of thing.
Right.
Well, Ken, that's a great point, right? So once you buy a home, if you enter into a mortgage, your payments, you now know what your payments are for whatever term you chose. So 30 years, 25 years, whatever that may be. You know that's your cost. If you're renting, you don't know what the cost is going to be next year. Chances are it's not going down, but how much will it go up is really the question. And if that continues to happen every year, the cost of that becomes prohibitive for, I think, most people who think about the American dream of ownership, right? Some of that's about security.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, it sounds like the Bill and Val Fillmore Dreams team really covers all the bases when we're talking about purchasing a property that's right for them and knowing what their options are, regardless of what the mortgage rates are or what's going on in the economy. You guys have got the experience and the know-how to set them straight. So tell us about our listeners, or tell our listeners how they can get a hold of you guys and how you might be able to help.
Yeah, sure, be glad to. So, two best ways to get a hold of either one of us would be to go to our website, which is www.fillmoredreams.com. So that's F as in Frank, ILLMORE, dreams.com. Or we're both available via email, and it's val.fillmoredreams@gmail.com and bill.fillmoredreams@gmail.com.
Okay, terrific then. And of course, if you would like to get a hold of us here at Pinnacle Financial Wealth Management, 321-454-3623. Talk to Jenny Giroux. Love to answer any questions that you have. Again, it's 321-454-3623. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day now.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Ken.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. And I do want to say that I love the point that you made when you were saying, oh, when you're looking for a house, make sure you're looking for things that you need, not things that you want, basically was the sum of that. So if you have to go down a few hundred feet or a few thousand feet or whatever it be, think about your lifestyle. And I thought that was a really, really good point. I know you guys brought that up more than once throughout the
Thank
call.
you.
I was listening on the other end, but I thought that was awesome. Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. And if you have any questions about the topic today, you can reach out to Ken or Bill and Val. And it was so nice meeting you guys.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex. Bye-bye.
You too. Yeah.
Alex, thanks.
I'll
Have a
talk
good
to you
day
mostly.
today.
Yeah, you too. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Good having you guys on the show.
Yeah,
Bye
thanks
for now.
again.